Today we have our first guest, Melinda Perez. She's a Christian. We're going to discuss what she believes and see if we can convert her to atheism. What are the things that make you a Christian?
Well, we believe in God.
People make this mistake when they say you can't disprove the existence of God. I don't think that's true. I think if you look through the history of the way people have believed in God, the description of God has changed, because what has happened is that God has been disproved. So the first thing we need to do here, we've got like 5 things to examine. Let's start with God. What is God?
God is everything. He is the sun, He is the wind, God lives in your heart. So basically just all your passion and your love. God is peace, love, and joy.
God is the physical things in the universe, and then there's something metaphysical that you're saying. God is love.
Yes.
I mean, that's a well-known description of God. God is love. When you say God is the sun...
Well, it's just God created all of these things.
Yeah, okay, great. If I create something, if I create a meal, for example, am I that meal?
Not necessarily. No, but it's just how we see His soul, or how we feel God's soul.
Yeah.
So we feel His soul through the sun. When we look at a beautiful child, or we have the love of a child, or a parent, or whatnot.
Okay, so it's a kind of metaphor then, kind of.
In a way.
God is,
say that.
If I make a meal or if I make a painting, I'm not the painting, but the painting is an expression of me. Yeah? And so the universe is an expression of God. Is that the kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's enough for God, I would say, unless you've got
That is
anything.
God.
That's God, yeah. Let's have a look at Jesus is God's son. What can we say about that?
I believe that God came to the Virgin Mary, and it's the basic Bible story, and grant Mary with a baby, and that was the Son of God.
So a spiritual, my spelling, spiritual father, but a biological father.
Not necessarily. Can't really put those two together,
But Jesus was a biological being. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, made of flesh and bone. And...
Yes. Well, biologically, they say He's the Son of God.
Yeah.
Without sounding so ignorant, how do I put this?
I think the biology is quite important here.
It is important.
How in those days they didn't really understand about sperms and eggs, how DNA combined and stuff like that, and now we do. So if we could go back and look at how Jesus Christ was formed as a baby, how do you imagine it happened?
Well, I just imagine it how the Bible puts it, that that God came to, the angel came to Mary.
Yeah.
And so that you're going to have the Son of God, and basically that's how it happened. An angel came, and I mean, it sounds like fairy tale-ish, but it's really something that you feel in your heart. You just know that it's real, that it really did happen.
You believe it, but I mean, there needs to be an answer to this question, really. Before Jesus was born, or when Jesus was a fetus in Mary's womb, or before he was a fetus, he was an egg, an ovum.
Yes.
And normally you have a sperm that enters into the egg, and they kind of fuse, and then that's the genesis of what becomes a baby.
Yes.
So what happened in this case?
A miracle, basically.
No sperm?
No, just a miracle. I mean, God is power. He can bring these things to happen without all of those connections, So.
Well, do you imagine that there was an egg that grew, that divided and then grew?
I mean, I do imagine this. I mean, of course, it's had to happen. It's genetics. But really, it's more than that. You just have to believe in a miracle, basically. And it's more than just thinking of DNA and...
Well, I mean, yeah, okay, it can be a miracle. But see, there is some stuff that is not mysterious. You know, Jesus was a human being. He was born from his mother. So those things are purely human. Maybe there's some extra stuff about this guy, but those things are purely human acts. You know, he grew from a child to an adult, so normal human development. It's likely, wouldn't you say, he grew from a fetus to a baby whilst in Mary's womb? Isn't that likely?
It sounds odd. It does. But it's just...
Well,
really...
no, hang on. I know it sounds odd, and maybe there is something miraculous, but I'm trying to work out what is it in that chain of events that we need to look at to be able to test, if it's possible to test it. So the one odd step we have a question about then is this sperm fusing with an egg. Now, from my point of view, it's highly likely that that was just a normal sperm and egg. What do you think happened?
Well, I mean, God is the creator of all things, so that part basically can be already developed. You know, you don't need to, how do I put this? This is a tough question.
You don't have to give an answer. But what I'm saying is there is an answer to this question. It's just that we don't know it.
That's right. Yeah.
But what are the possibilities?
Well, in my belief, it's just that, you know, the miracle happened and all that the DNA comes along with it.
Yeah.
So all of those steps, they were already there, created by God. So that's in my own belief. Hard to put it in other words.
Yeah, you can't go any further than that. You can't... Well, I gave you an example. DNA being teleported into an egg. Or another possibility is God has sperm. I mean, maybe that's a possibility.
That is possible. Or just a miracle in it all. There's really no explaining this question.
Well, do you accept that there is an answer?
I do accept that there's an answer. I just don't know it.
Yeah,
Maybe
okay.
when I die, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So there is an answer. And at the moment, the answer is it's a miracle.
Yes, for me.
Yeah. I want to say something about that, because that's one of those cases where there's an answer given and it's a non-answer. It's an emotionally satisfying answer. It's a miracle. Oh, I'm satisfied. I have an answer to my question. But it's one of those non-answers. Do you see what I mean? Because it doesn't actually explain anything.